What's up, guys? Josh Pate here from 24/7 Sports, joined by a guy you know very well, much better than I, and that is Frank Caliendo, CaliendoCast.com. You can find him at Frank Caliendo across various platforms of social media. Frank, I'm locked in a studio with no one. You are in your office with no one. How in the world is quarantine life treating you so far?
I'm schizophrenic, so it's working out pretty well. According to my sources, I just went Adam Schefter, and now I'm going Jay Glazer. It doesn't even matter. The information I'm getting conflicts with everything the Schefter's getting. You don't know what sources I'm getting. I get it straight from Mel Kiper. Talk about a tremendous situation. Caliendo going into a barrage of impressions, not even waiting for a question, just doing the dancing monkey. Got a tin cup, put the money in, make them go, and you'd be hard-pressed to tell me otherwise.
Yeah, I would be hard-pressed, so I'm not going to try to tell you otherwise. Hey, you just mentioned a bunch of big names in the sports world. I've looked because, trust me, I've had plenty of time to do it. Some of these celebrities are not taking the isolation in the best of terms, and I've seen people do things such as, wash their hands to get attention. Some people are even going as far as to be brave enough to appear without makeup. I myself cannot cross that bridge. I think you have, but what are your thoughts on all that?
No, I'm actually wearing a ton of makeup right now. I'm caked on. That's how bad I actually look. It's pretty pathetic when the big news is that celebrities are on with it. And I know you're doing that tongue-in-cheek, but they're literally on some of these shows doing that, using it as real news. As though they're sacrificing some of the great, like people in this country are trying to make ends meet, and celebrities are worried about high definition shine. So listen, I think it's all kind of silly, but I've been trying to put out good content. They have something interesting and creative. I've been doing a lot of impression stuff. I've gone away from some of the impressions a bit, but now during this time, it seems to be helping a lot of people. So I started doing that, and it's been working pretty well. Some of the Bill Belichick stuff, I did Bill Belichick calling into what if Bill Belichick had called into the Tom Brady conference call. And that was something I put on Instagram and Twitter, and it went something like this. Is there a Phil Belichick from Champions Tomorrow? Yeah, Tom, I just have a little question here. A lot of people said that you're just a system quarterback and you're a product of a genius coach. But so I went on about that kind of thing. So, just doing silly little things like that, trying to make people laugh. I did Robert Downey Jr., the inner voice of a child, earlier today or yesterday. I'm getting them mixed up, kind of the way it goes. That's how it is here in Endgame, if you will. I always got to work in an Avengers reference.
Here's what I'm wondering. In your world, when do you realize that we have crossed a bridge to where something's not funny versus something that is funny? I mean, you don't make fun of a landfalling hurricane, but yet like net neutrality or something like that. That's fair game. So where are we at right now in quarantining, coronavirus? How in the world have you decided how to handle that?
I do more stuff making fun of the lack of toilet paper and things like that, and try to do a softer comedy with social distancing stuff to make a point. You need the social distance, and if you aren't, it's all, the joke is kind of stay home and get a joke out of it so it's memorable. As opposed, you have to be very careful because some people are obviously sick, dying, all sorts of stuff. So to me, the virus itself and what's happening to people, that's not funny, and I stay away from that. But in terms of the things we're all going through, just not being able to talk to friends and hang out with other people, those kinds of things, that's more where I go. And the fact that you watch sports, it's hilarious. Sports, I've become so important in sports. It's almost like Radio Row during the Super Bowls at 6 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast. Because what people don't understand is no superstar is getting up to do interviews at that time. Some, some are working out, like J.J. Watt. I remember it was the Pro Bowl, and J.J. Watt was in Arizona. J.J. Watt was coming back from working out at 6 a.m. Mm-hmm. That's how early he got his workout. And so, guys, I don't want to say guys aren't doing that type of stuff, but they're not going for interviews that early. So we're on the West Coast and the East Coast out there. Nobody's getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do the drive time for the East Coast.
we're going to show a clip briefly of The Irishman. Then I want you to talk about this. So this is The Irishman. Frank just recently released this. Take a look.
Hello? Hiya, my friend. I get that kid I was talking about here. I'm gonna put him on the phone and let him talk to you, okay?
Hello? Is that Frank? Yeah. Hiya, Frank. This is Jimmy Hoffa. Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you, too.
Even if it's over the phone. I heard you hoard toilet paper. Yes. Yes, sir, I do. I do.
Only 3 people in the world have stacks of TP like this. And only one of them's Irish.
The government, a big supermarket, are trying to fix it.
Because people have lost their minds. But that's good for us.
And, I also have hand sanitizer. Oh. I'm glad to hear that.
He loves to talk about TP, don't he?
It sure does.
So I'm watching that, Frank. Now, I told you, I texted you, I thought the whole hand sanitizer line, like that was my favorite with Robert De Niro, but you're an expert on this, I'm not. So I got to ask you, one thing has got to be nailing the impressions. Like your De Niro is one of my favorite impressions, but it's the facial mannerisms. I could put you on mute and just look at your face. Look at that. That's him, man. Like, sometimes Robert De Niro doesn't do it that well.
I think people can do that. I mean, De Niro's not one of the hardest, I would say, but you know, that one, he makes those faces, so that's why I went there with that. I actually cut out every time I was going to do it really big. I cut away right from it. But Pacino, I did the really still, whoa,
right,
that kind of. And people kept saying to me, nice, glad to meet you too, even if it's over the phone. He does that in the actual trailer for the film. So I kept telling people, though, it's not something I made up. It's something he does. And then for some reason, my Joe Pesci came across fantastically. This is that fucking Joe Pesci, not that over-the-top Joe Pesci. And people are like, I didn't know you did a Joe Pesci. I'm like, neither did I.
Yeah.
So it all worked out pretty well. And people seem to like it. So that's what I'm going for, is just trying to get people to have some type of distraction right now.
Yeah, well, it was a really good one. From the time the idea was born to the time you guys said wrap, how long did that project take?
Well, I just did it myself. There's no guide, unless you're counting me as all the different people. I just put a phone on a tripod like I have it right now. And I'm going to release this, it may be out by the time this airs. I did a full scene first, and I thought, it doesn't pop that much. So then I put it to the trailer, called my friend Greg O'Connor, who scores movies and does all sorts of stuff. Used to be the music director on Mad TV, and said, hey, can you take a look at this? He's like, oh, I like this. And he put that music in, and it just put it over the top. So I've had people from the movie, even not the big stars, but some other people from that movie contacted me like, I'm showing everybody this. That's fantastic. So that's pretty cool, and what you really shoot for in that situation.
Awesome stuff. Out of all your catalog of folks, especially the ones that you nail, I got to imagine some are handling this whole situation better than others. If you dig into your treasure chest, who do you think is probably the least equipped to handle a month just by themselves in a room?
Well, I can tell you who's most equipped. Mel Kiper Jr. is just sitting there going, this is pretty much the same way it's always been for me, just sitting in my basement, a bunch of numbers, typing things into a computer, not even doing that, just write them down with a paper and pencil. I can use pencil. You know, a long time ago, let me just say this, a lot of people don't realize that. I remember the first people went to space, the United States tried to use a pen that you could write upside down with. The Russians used a pencil. It's just right there, a mental situation. Schefter's probably got to be going nuts. His family, according to my source sheet, at this particular time, it appears that I am only getting phone calls from people constantly. I'm trying to think who would have a tough time. Gruden actually literally texted me the other day. John Gruden's like, how you doing, man?
Yeah.
All right? Like, that's when I know things are crazy, when John Gruden's just texting me with a, just checking it on you, man.
What do you listen, man? You're the head coach of the Raiders. If you're John Gruden right now, this is like the first time in forever he hasn't had complete control of what's going on. We're a couple of weeks in. If we fast forward and we're still a couple of months in, I got to imagine the tenor of a John Gruden kind of changes, don't you think?
No, man, I'm doing everything the same exact way. I'm like Belichick, man. I got spy cameras in everybody's house. Got everybody working out. We know exactly what's going on right now, man. We're ready. A little Spider 2 live.
Frank, were you a big fan back in the day of the We Are the World music video? I asked for a specific reason. Don't worry.
Oh, no, you're setting it up. I feel it. The Carrot Top finale.
Right.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I was not a fan necessarily. Okay. Good purpose, though, behind it. So what I was thinking was, I'm going to give you as much time as you want to. You can take us out of here. But a We Are the World Corona edition, you can be everyone. You are your own cast. You are your own crew. And you just take us out and basically reassure people that things are going to be okay in the end. If indeed you think they're going to be okay. If you think we're screwed, you can go ahead and tell people that too.
No, we are the world. I'll tell you what, we are the children. We make a brighter day, so let's start staying home again.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who else there would be. There are people saying they want to go outside, but they're not supposed to leave your house.
That's awesome.
I couldn't remember the rest. Worst of all, I couldn't remember any other impressions I do.
The Cyndi Lauper really off-key part, yeah, but it's all very memorable. I think we just topped it though. CaliendoCast.com is where you want to go. At Frank Caliendo anywhere on social media. Frank, in all sincerity, thank you for taking the time to join us today. Best of luck to you and yours, sir.
Appreciate it. Rack me. I am out.
Thank you.